Bosun Omofaye, and this is your Frontier Opening Bell this Wednesday, the 18th of October. Let's get on with the trading day review. On Tuesday, the markets across Africa were a little bit mixed, but of course, we're focusing on some of the big markets that we report on a daily basis. The Zimbabwe stock market is just at the doorstep of 140,000 on the all-share index, ramping up very strongly on Tuesday. The Nigerian market moved up 0.43%, roughly 0.5%. By the same margin, the GSE in South Africa was down by roughly 0.5%, 72,000 still holding that level. The Nairobi stock market softened by 0.1%. The Egyptian market roared nearly 5%. We've seen roughly 10% upside over the last 4 sessions since Sunday for the biggest stock market north of the continent, now cruising to above 22,000 level. The BRVM just slightly down, roughly 0.1% from 211 reading on the country's composite index. That's the region exchange for French-speaking West Africa. So let's just take it all down and pull up what's the big news across South Africa. There are a whole lot of conversations on the state of the economy and how President Ruto is handling the issue of tax on Kenyans, the whole relationship with the IMF and the World Bank, including China, and whether the fiscal balance that the new administration is trying to get in place, 1 year old, will be able to hold. So Kenya is revealing plan to settle 298 billion Eurobond by June next year, and the debt repayment will be consuming about 67.5% of the Kenya's taxes. That was in the first quarter. The DR Congo is looking to export its first LNG cargo this year, and that's according to the country's Minister of Mines and Energy, who's speaking here at the Cape Town location of the African Energy Week 2023. That was at the opening plenary on Tuesday. The Bank of Tanzania, which is the central bank, is issuing new regulation for foreign exchange bureaus, and Uganda's FX reserves down to $4.07 billion in the month of June. Let's get on to West Africa. Check in with a couple of headline news with the deal, $75 million, which was signed here between Afrexim Bank and an upstream regulator or upstream operator in the Nigeria's oil and gas industry. That's the big sector, and that's a big deal. The first deal signed at the African Energy Week Forum, which is going on in Cape Town, South Africa. That was a curtain raiser. We expect more deals to be signed over the next 2 days. The AFDB and the African Guarantee Fund, the AGF, are floating a new fund series to support women entrepreneurs in Nigeria. That was announced on Tuesday at a conference in Lagos. In the meantime, the Africa Finance Corporation and the Small Solid Minerals Development Fund, the SMDF in Nigeria, is looking to de-risk the country's mining sector. That is a partnership under the new government that the AFC is pursuing very actively. The AFC is headquartered in Nigeria, but operates across Africa with shareholders across the continent. President Obasanjo, Nigeria's former head of government, hits very hard at the World Bank and the IMF policies for Africa. On Tuesday, speaking at the opening plenary of the African Energy Week Summit, he also hit at the global institutions that are abandoning Africa and asking the continent to jettison the use of fossil fuels, including coal, in favor of the new energy frontiers. So it's all conversation about Africa's independence in the energy and the continent's energy sovereignty here being discussed. Today, we've got a whole lot more on the table for you for the forum. Then you've got the chart beginning the process of joining the Africa 50 as a sovereign shareholder in the very near future. That process is already in place. In Cote d'Ivoire, the Treasury was able to raise about 30.9 billion CFA franc within the financial markets in the week, just halfway. Let's get to Southern Africa. The path to the country's inflation stabilization remains very uncertain. That's according to the South Africa Reserve Bank governor speaking at a major event here on Tuesday. And the country will need to pursue just energy expansion and not transition. Well, that goes for the whole of Africa. That's according to Alex Epstein. Alex Epstein is as a public commentator and an author. He is fully in support of Africa using every form of energy that the continent has for its own energy independence. So what Africa needs is not just energy transition, but energy expansion, mixing fossil fuel with renewable. And Sasfin Holdings misses its GSC deadline and is likely facing removal from the GSC. In Zimbabwe, remittances climbed by 8.3% year on year from Zimbabweans in diaspora. That's about $1.17 billion within the first 8 months of this year. Zimbabwe has one of the highest level of diaspora remittances on the African continent. Mozambique, unfortunately, has banned poultry imports from South Africa, while the IMF says South Africa may beat Nigeria briefly as the continent's largest economy, and that is in the news. So let's finish it up in North Africa and just bring in Egypt. Core inflation down to roughly 40% in September against 40.4% in the month of August. In the meantime, the country is selling about 3.5 billion Chinese yuan in 3-year panda bonds, which is already on the market streets. Morocco's CFG Bank is looking for an IPO on the Casablanca Stock Exchange. We say congratulations. Let's see how that goes. Tunisia is expecting 2.1% economic growth in 2024. That's against 0.9% for the current year. And finally, Carthage Cement of Tunisia turnover up about 23% in the first 9 months, January to September, 9 months reporting as a listed company on the Tunisia Stock Exchange. And those are your headlines this Wednesday, the 18th of October. I am Bosun Amofaye. This is Frontier Opening Bell. Have a great day, everyone.